Oh, hey there. I'm Wilton, and I want to let you know that we got a combo today for you. Not only do I got a life lesson, but we got some stuff to go with it because application matters whenever you're learning something. Well, today we're going to be talking about getting that love and affection that you need, like getting those free hugs. So, do you need free hugs? Well, my advice is the first thing that you should do is buy a conveniently labeled t-shirt that says on the back, accepting free hugs. And on the front, you're giving out the important message that you're not a terrorist. So you can do that on the Teespring store that we have set up. You can buy a t-shirt that says, on the front it says, I'm not a terrorist, and on the back it says, accepting free hugs. So there's that. And then, not only that, but you could actually buy a backpack that says, this is not a bomb. Also accepting free hugs. So that would be like the best way. So you got the t-shirt and the thing that you're carrying around with you. It also lets people know that you're not carrying around anything dangerous. So you can wear that wherever you want. And that's the truth. You could wear it to an airport and you'll get the free hug. You could wear it to a train station and get the free hug. You could wear it to the police station and also get a free hug. So lots of free places to get hugs. So there you go. So you got life advice and a purchasing opportunity to make sure that you get your free hugs.
Alrighty, here we go. So this is where we are at with the dragon. Through different things, I have made little white teeth out of what they call foam clay. And so it's kind of a bit of an experiment here with how it works. But I mean, it is foam. So if you're wondering, how did you make your teeth? It's just foam clay. So I literally just broke it up into little balls and then just kind of rolled it with my fingers. And then voila, that is how I created the foam teeth that are going to be going into the mouth of the dragon. So I just put them in this little baggie here. And then what I did also is I picked up some of these clear things. Can't remember what they're called, but if I went on Amazon, if you really care, I can find out and look and see what they're actually called. But basically kind of like a magnifying glass. And you just stick them on the paper and it makes the eye go from looking like that to looking like it's kind of looking rounded. I don't know what I'm saying here, but you're tracking. It creates eyes, and so this dragon's gonna have glass eyes. That's how I'm gonna do it. So again, a little bit of an experimentation here. Ooh, and that's apparently not actually dry on there, but that's okay because whatever. It's experimentation, like I said. So I'm going to be cutting those out, seeing how they sit on the head of the dragon. And this is the current status of the dragon head itself. And so when you're looking at it, and that's kind of how we're sitting. So I've honestly, it's just been detailing it with some Sharpie, trimming down some of the longer fuzz, and gluing it down on the bottom. So the teeth are going to kind of going along this ridge here, and obviously going along here. We got to make a tongue, and I'll probably be doing a little bit of velvet for the make it look like the mouth is a gaping hole back there. So that's kind of the strategy there. So he's fairly big. I mean, if you compare it, my hand, I don't have a huge hand, so if you really care, my hand is from the palm 7¼ inches, so you can kind of get an idea there. All right, so that's what's going on. That's the status. I just got the fabric pinned on the bottom there. My goal was to create its least amount of stitching possible for the chin, but at the same time, some of that stitching is going to get hidden by the yellow fabric that's going to be going on to kind of create that like yellow dragon tummy that you kind of see in cartoons and stuff. I did some Henson stitching up here, which actually turned out really nice. So with the ladder stitch, so you can't really see it there. What you do see up here is actually just where I was hot gluing, and I put a little too much hot glue, so it made it too hard to ladder stitch, but that's okay. We will make it work via other methods. And then there's kind of the same mistake along this eye, and this eye actually came out really nice on this side, so you don't actually see the ladder stitch at all. Not really anyway. I mean, you can kind of see it down in there, but we don't care enough. So anyway, so that's kind of where we're at. So we're going to be cutting out the eyes, seeing how they look on the dragon, which eye we're going to be going with. Finishing off doing the fabric for the mouth. And I guess I can, on this conveniently placed mug, we'll just put the dragon head so you can kind of see it in the light there. But we're gonna experiment here. So anyway, I attached the glass eye things to the paper is just with Mod Podge, homemade. So I just used some Elmer's glue and water and Mod Podged it up. But anyway, so that's that. So now I want these scissors. I do not want my fabric scissors. I want to cut paper with these scissors. So the glue says you're supposed to wait for 48 hours or 72 hours, 24 hours. Yikes. Probably because that's not fully dry yet, but that's okay. Maybe it'll work for what we're going for right now, which is just literally seeing how it looks. So I won't do any final work with the eyes today. Just want to see how it comes out. So there was a Curious Mondo creature puppet build or animal puppet build video that they did, where it's like a one-time course, and that's where I learned through that how to do this. So that's kind of what's going on there. So we're just cutting these out just to see this. So I did the same size of big eyes, but different size of the yellow of the eyes, which are not the mark of Sauron. I just looked up dragon eyes, and that's what came up. So anyway, let's cut these out a little further and see. So I see there's a few of you watching right now, which is cool. I'm going to be probably putting on the replay of Friday Night Tights if no one is in chat and talking. Part of the reason for the build streams is because it helps get those hours up on the watch hours. So for the day that we get monetized, we can say we have the watch hours, because I don't just do puppets. We build the puppets here. So I don't know how well you can tell, but that looks pretty sick. This is a nice way of doing the eyes. Okay, so yeah, so these are still a little bit damp on the bottom here, but that's okay. So we just want to see how it looks. So the reason why I did this eye, Mrs. Flo, Games of Distraction. This is going to be awesome. Yeah, so the way that I did these smaller ones, I don't know where I just wrote theirs, is I left a little bit of the white of the eye kind of on the back there. Don't know if I'm a total fan of that, but I tried it. It's going to get kind of covered up anyway. And then there's the different size of the other ones. So you probably can't really see the difference on camera, actually, which is good to know. So whatever ones look better are the ones I'm just going to go with in person. And they look different enough. But yeah, so that's what's going on, is we're just looking at the eyes, seeing how this dragon's coming out. So for those of you who just tuned in, so this is where the dragon's at. So we've added details. I can actually break this up here. That'll help. So there's Henson stitching here that you can't see, which came out really nice. So part of it is learning how to use this, what they call fuzzle. But then I just drew on some of the details with the Sharpie. But then hot gluing the fabric on. So it's not just using a pattern. I'm actually like just hot gluing on. So very similar to how I did Wilton, if you were around for any of that. And then just using different shades of Sharpies actually just to help create a little bit of that deeper nostril effect, which you can't really see on camera right now. That's okay. And then folding the green into the mouth. So this is going to get tidied up, obviously, as we go. So that's where we are at. So he, his mouth will open, obviously, like that. I'm thinking I'm going to be using a little bit of the pink, maybe, just to kind of create like that, the webbing that you kind of see on dragons, just in the mouth there. But that is going to be a last minute thing if I do it, or a final decision moment. But anyway, so there's some tidying that needs to happen on it, just in terms of being a perfectionist. But in terms of what we're trying to accomplish today, that's where this thing is at. All right, so let us see how it looks with the different eyes, shall we? So again, I did different sizes, and you're not going to see the full eye. You're going to only see a part of the eye, because I'm going to be using fabric to kind of create the eyelid. But that eye would sit like that. All right, so if I can find a scrap piece that I just threw out, just to kind of create a visual. There we go. Yeah, so that's how that eye would kind of look, with a little bit of a lip there I do it on the top and the bottom, give it a little bit of a ridge. Maybe I'll cut it, and then that way we can kind of see how it looks with both the top and the bottom eyelid. That one's the better one. Again, this is all just for visual placement, kind of testing, experimenting. Don't want you to move. I want you to stay right there. That looks pretty good, I think, on camera. Right, when it's not moving, I could use a pin or two. One and two. Okay. So if you're wondering what this is for, if you weren't here for the last one, is the primary is going to be actually, this is my Halloween costume. So the girls are going to be walking around as little princesses. My son is going to be dressed up as a knight. And so I will be utilizing some of that stuff that I've done for Wilton, for my son, and for Floral, for my son, just for this little movie idea that we got going on. So that's kind of how that's going to look, which I think is pretty sick, if I don't say so myself. I think that gives you a good idea with the different definitions and stuff. Again, this is just rough placement, but having those folds in there, it just gives you that extra texture, that extra realism. And I'm a fan of that. I'm a big fan of that. But anyway, let's experiment with the other sizes. I don't think I'm in love with this enormous one. now that we have that visual, I mean, ultimately, I may end up going back and maybe the bigger eye. Okay, I'm going to do this first. His eye sockets are pretty big. So if the eye socket on here is pretty big, or the eye is pretty big, that's okay with me. Because again, we're going to be giving him eyelids. So if that kind of goes like that, like there, fold in. And if you're like, oh, are you guys trying to do House of the Dragon? The answer is no. I've never watched anything Game of Thrones because there are things in that I just don't want in my life. And I don't want to see. So, all right. Let's fold this around and see how it looks. You suck, bigger eye. You suck. You're making it way harder to visualize. Ironically. Okay. Apparently that has to go lower. What is going on? Fighting with this. Sucks to be me right now. I know you guys can't see, but I can, and it's really annoying. What have I done? I don't want to move on because I want to actually see how this looks. Like, that's the problem. That's why I'm not like just being like, screw whatever. All right. Moments of whateverness, though. I'll just say screw you, and I will pin you. And then you can't, unless there's hot glue there. Okay. Maybe the bigger eye. I think the bigger eye. Might be sold on it. Might have to go back and look on the stream to see how I feel. But ultimately, that's kind of how these eyes are going to look. So, et voila. So, all right. I'm going to remove the eyes from screen, put them back under a book so that they can, as the instructions say, be weighted down. So I will be back in literally 2 seconds. The bigger eyes are kinder. I don't want it to be kinder. I want him to look kind of mean. So they're a bit more sneering. All right. I don't know what it was. Oh, it was the pink teapot. That just fell. All right. Where to start here today? Where to start? I mean, I know where I should start, kind of, maybe, but it's on this mouth. Figuring out how I actually want to attach it and move on here. This is way too much fabric in the back here, so I need to remove that so it's just not annoying me, but I'm not going to cut it super short. Because I don't want to screw up and be like, oh, I should have left more fabric on, and then have to add more fabric unnecessarily. But that just kind of cleans up that back end. So don't have to worry about it. I never did get any tea. I'm sorry. It was all imaginary. You should have known that. Don't know what I'm pulling on. That's hot glue on the hot glue cord. And my garbage can is way too far away. All right. Getting myself prepped here. Howdily doodly, Mr. Tickle Trunk. How are you doing? All right, so dragon. We're going to finish attaching this fabric around on the bottom here. And again, so the way we're doing that is through contact cement. That's how I'm skipping a step, kind of. I mean, a lot of professionals do it that way. I'm doing it that way today for whatever professionalism people would suggest that I have. All right. So this has to be unpinned. Stab that like that. And then what we got to do is trim along. So we're going to not go super far down because, again, I can trim off more after. But I want that idea. It's because that's got to, you can't really see it. That's got to come like that. Let's do it like this. Let's just move this all together. Stretch and stretch. I think I did this in the past. There we go. Good microphone shot there. So, okay, I think you can see better what I'm doing. Those must be nice scissors to cut dragon skin. Yeah, but I had to sharpen them. Yeah, so that's where I was. All right. So we got our extra piece of cardboard here. We got our makeup cotton swabs for precision work. Apparently people are dropping things upstairs. What metal would one need to cut dragon scales? I think it's aluminum. Woo, fart cam. Could you hear it stretching there? If it sounds like things are farting constantly, that's actually just my chair. So, which you would probably know from every other stream I do. All right. Okay. So, precision work here. We're just gonna run this along. La-da-dee, la-da-da. Then I'm just attaching. I'm gonna attach, I should say. And as I've been doing all of this stuff, I've been learning that obviously when you're gluing fabrics, it's a lot less of a wait time as doing foam. Foam takes longer for it to dry on. And I'm guessing just because its fabric is more porous so the air can get at both sides. I could be wrong on that. If you know the actual answer, I'm open to hearing. All right. And the other thing I've learned too is if you have a little excess glue on something that you don't want it on, like whether it's super glue or contact cement, alcohol, rubbing alcohol. Did you ever use a hot glue gun? You gluing? Yes. Sir Floral, Sir Wilton, he's a knight. It is spirit time. Yeah. So the hot glue gun was used to get the details in for the nose and around the eyes and just in the creases on the skull top there. So let's do this. It's not as good. I want you guys to be able to see more details there. Whatever. It works. So once this is dry enough, I'm going to be applying it. I really like the dragon's profile. Thank you. Isopropyl. Where is it? Like this, Mrs. Flu. This would be isopropyl, and that's what I've been using, and it works great. So I'm glad to hear that, Mr. Tickle Trunk. I'm glad to hear that. But now it's a gag I've used a couple times, so now it has to go on the back burner. But if you guys have ideas for this Sunday, I watched that clip more than once. I appreciate that. I'm glad to hear that I have great comedic timing. If you say that about me in person, though, and that's the thing I've been learning as I've been doing this. I can get away with things with the puppets that if I personally do it, people just don't think it's funny or they don't laugh. Because what's hilarious is the people that, or the things that you guys laugh at are things that I joke about in person and nobody laughs. Like it doesn't land. But as soon as I slap on the puppets, people are laughing at those exact same things. It's just weird how people are. Or maybe it's just that I'm weird. A ventriloquist dummy can say anything. It's almost true. It's almost true. Okay, let's try this and see if we're at the stage yet, which I think we are. So, okay. Good. So you can see how that kind of, I mean, I gotta tidy it up a little bit, I guess, but it creates a lot nicer and cleaner of a line than if I tried just stitching it or whatever. Like I'm not that great with a sewing machine yet, but doing it like this, I can trim it up and fine tune it. And again, the teeth are going to be lined all along here when we actually attach them, which we probably will get to tonight, unless I can't figure out how to do the tongue. Is this all dried and gummed up? Yep. I don't know what's going on with chat at this exact moment, and so once this is reapplied and drying, I will then see what you guys are saying. Because again, I don't want to really rush this stuff. I want it to look really, really good, or at least as good as I can make it. Because I want people to be impressed when they see it in person. All right, what's going on in the chat? We got people in real life aren't people like us. We're cooler. Fair enough. We get you and your humor. That we do. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, oof. What a fail. Just put my hand in that. Now you'll try faster. All right. Oh. Sunday? What did I miss? Did I say something about Sunday? I might have talked about church. I make jokes on Sunday at church when I'm preaching. They don't always land. I laugh. Not everyone does. One of my most consistent jokes on a Sunday is I just make fun of the Maple Leafs, but in my current church, there's not like a ton of Maple Leafs fans. Maybe church isn't the best place for the jokes. Probably not. I have apologized on more than one occasion for my jokes in multiple churches. Not like that I like super crossed the line, I don't think. I mean, maybe to someone I did, but I also just want church to be fun. I want people to have a good experience. Too many people have bad experiences at church. Just because Christians can be stupid, just like everyone else, but Christians can be stupid. So if the pastor's stupid, at least in a different way. You know what I mean? All right. While that's drying, I'm going to trim that so it kind of looks a little bit neater. I'm going to, I don't need to trim along there. That all looks pretty good. But I can't really trim along there until that's glued down, which will be in probably about a minute here. A priest, a rabbi, and a troll walk into a bar or under a rock. Do you have a name for the dragon? Nope. I do not have a name for the dragon. Then Jesus held out his hands and said, I am holy enough. Well played, Mr. Tickletrunk. Actually, I can find for my comic that I was working on all those moons ago. I drew a picture of a dragon that I loved, and so I'll move this over here. I will make okay. I'm gonna do it this way. So I'm gonna share my screen. Share. Okay. So when it came to my comic that I was working on, so just talking about this while this is just finished drying. There's this guy, I think I was calling him Veracity. What was I calling him? Can't remember. Anyway, so he can control electricity and do that kind of stuff. That was me trying to figure out how to do angles. I really suck at backgrounds. By the way. Again, just me learning. See, this is how much I suck. Me learning how to make it look like he's punching through a wall, doing all the coloring and stuff. But this is kind of the team, right? So they were going to fight this dragon right here. And that's kind of what I'm picturing for this dragon. Now, he's not going to have all the armor and all the space gear and stuff. Oh, well, we got DJ Ronnie. You showed up here too. Welcome. You did a good job on Bizarro Superman. I guess for present day DC Comics, it's really good. Okay, let's see. Is that the last picture in that? I thought there was another one. Let's see. Oh, that's not a saved picture, apparently. Apparently, I didn't save all these as pictures. I got my Critifiles, though, that I can just open up. And then you guys can see. All right, this is probably dried enough. All right. So if someone just wants to take over my story, I'm more than happy to do it, and I'll drag over the Critifile so everyone can kind of see. But once it loads, are you loading? What's going on here? There we go. All right, so I was trying to draw him dealing with anger and frustration, and then we got this scene here where he was about to fight the which I'm calling a draken. That was my own thought. Let's see, did I put those pictures in this file over here? Because I have a profile of the dragon. Like, the way I visualize him as a full creature, it's just, obviously I'm not going to be doing it as a puppet. Not with my current budget. Why is things not loading? Come on, you. Open up. Apparently, I'm just overloading my computer, stressing it out. It wants to die. Hopefully, it's not affecting the stream at all. Roll call. Who's here? Share the stream and let's flood this chat. If you really want to, you're more than welcome to. Okay, I'm gonna shut off Gilded. Okay, so again, me really sucking. So part of it was I was starting to rush because I'm an idiot. But we got Snow. Are you making Puff's alcoholic cousin? His name is Lush. No, he's not an alcoholic. He's just a crazy dragon. Oh, we got Panda. How you doing, Panda? All right, my computer just hates me right now. Why do you hate me so much? Probably because I opened up way too many crit files, apparently. What a guy I am, huh? Oh, here they are. These are the pictures I was looking for. Okay. So you can see the dragon in the background here. That was the conspiracy puppet. This is the dragon fighting everyone. So he's supposed to be pretty big. And then him going after a jet. But evidence for the resurrection. That was a sermon pro thing. There we go. So that's what we got there. So back to the dragon build. All right. Oh, we got awesome one in the chat here as well. Yeah, anyway, so this has been now glued down. So I just wanted to, so you guys can kind of see, like, this is where that dragon profile basically came from. Is I'm trying to create that thing. So he's obviously not going to look like that, because it is going to be different purposes, but visually, that's what I want you to kind of see. So that is now glued down. We're now going to move on to figuring out how I'm going to attach this bottom part, because part of my issue is I've got all this extra fabric that I don't really want in here. And yeah. The journey creates the masterpiece. Well, does it though? Always? Sounds good on a postcard though, doesn't it? Because when we watch Rings of Power, do you really feel that way, Mrs. Flu? Do you really feel that way? Dwagon. Dwayne. Dwayne. Anyway, but it's cool because now I'm starting to see how he's gonna look. The other part is wondering is how I'm gonna be connecting the skull to the neck. Am I gonna kind of bring the neck to here, or am I gonna kind of keep the skull independent-ish and have the neck connect to the back here? I don't know yet, but I'm thinking that probably what I should do first steps is hot glue around the lips here, because that fabric is going to be enough. really, it's just ultimately a question of, am I going to maybe make a fold with this fabric here? Because again, so there's going to be yellow fabric that goes underneath, kind of starting right around here to connect. And then I'm going to kind of create like that classic dragon tummy ribbing that you see. Uh, Doogie Dan the dragon. Have more skull. Okay. Dale dragon with a southern accent. Well, I already got Fredneck. He's got a southern accent. So maybe Yakbite, we will be a Russian dragon with attitude and fire and things. We go rar, and then we drill out your kneecaps. So yeah, yeah, drill kneecap. I think that's good solution. I drink gasoline just for fun. Just for fun. Helps me burp with a fiery passion. Ah, yeah, yeah. Would you like to try, comrade? Mm. Okay. Yeah. That is what we're going to do. Is we are going to start by right on this ridge that I got here, which I can feel. That's where the contact cement is going to go. But then we're going to fold up the fabric over top and work our way down. So, contact cement. Now he's Spanish. Did I not hold my Russian accent well enough? Might have told you guys about that before, where I went from doing like a Russian accent somehow into a Scottish accent, somehow into an Irish accent, into Australian, and finished off with East Indian. And I have no idea how I did it. And it was supposed to be one time where I was just doing one accent. I can't remember what it was for or why I was doing it, but I just remember screwing up that bad, and everyone was kind of like looking at me, being like, "Yeah, okay." Okay, we got some context there. So again, I'm just going to do this slowly because I don't want to bite off more than I could chew for this mouth. But yeah, if someone's an artist and they want to take over my story, I'm fine with that. Your alternate personalities were messing with you, probably. Uh, I just had an image of a dragon with a gold fetish rubbing coins all over himself. He's kind of like Scrooge McDuck. Just jumps in, just run. Uh, we're gonna turn you on, get you primed and ready. You hot glue gun, you. So hot right now. So hot. Um, you know what? I could probably start working from this other side here while we're doing it because I am pinned in the middle. And that way I can give myself a little bit of time where it's not just waiting. Oh, don't you dare touch. Maybe I shouldn't do it. Um, what's going on here? Gauge ramen. He's a flaming dragon. Like Scrooge McDuck, only he moans softly, just dumping chocolate coins on his head. But it has to be like dollar store quality chocolate coins, because then you can afford more. Because it's not about quality; it's just about quantity. Actually, my girls have some coins. They're like they use it for a cash register, but I could definitely like steal them. Okay. What about a sort of foppish dragon British accent? I can't honestly. I can't really do British. I wish I could. Um, However, my family history is I'm literally half Scottish. So if I wanted to get my Scottish citizenship, I could. Um, Family's all directly from there, but then I'm also quarter French and quarter Welsh, and so I just hate the British. Just naturally, it just happens. Um, every part of me just wants to kill a Brit. So um, not literally, but you get where I'm coming from. You guys probably get where I'm coming from. Okay, look how nicely that just went on there. That nice clean edging. It's so pretty. Quarter French. I'm sorry for your loss. Ha ha ha. Actually, that's one of the jokes and gags that I want to do. Is I want to have Wilton have a French cousin, and he just walks around with a white flag. So it's just a troll that just his whole thing is he just like starts a fight and then gives up. He just wears the white flag. No, my name is I don't know what. But my, I was trying to look up like a French W name. That would be great. Could be like Wilbert. And so it's kind of a play on everyone calling Wilton Wilbert. My name is Wilbert, and I give up. I give up. Bet you've never had a troll. Now I'm going like Russian again. I change the voice, not the accent. Change the voice, not the accent. Okay. All right. It's going on nicely with a beret. I was actually looking for one, found one at a Halloween store, and it was bright orange and also enormous. I was hoping for like a kid-sized beret, um, because of the puppets. I mean, I could probably find one online, but Halloween store was right there, and I was like hoping, and then I was just disappointed. But now, the other thing I'm looking for, because I'm actually kind of like wanting to get into it, is compound bow. I want to do some bow hunting, but A, they're stinking expensive. Um, and yeah, like I know enough people with properties that I could go and because I just want to try turkey hunting. I don't know if I could stomach killing a deer yet, but I'm fairly confident I could kill a bird, especially since while I'm driving a school bus, the amount of birds that I've killed. Oof. Birds are suicidal. Let me just tell you that. When you're driving a school bus, they're like, "Oh, hey, there's a gigantic school bus. Let me fly in front of it." And so it's just like smack right off the windshield. Mrs. Fu, did you buy one buy one of quartering British title names? Oh, the Scottish titles, so you could become a lord. Wallace. Well, that'd be more like Scottish. You'll just have to make a beret, 2 discs, a little bit of filler, and a nub on top. Yeah, but then I have to make it. Birds are dinosaurs anyway. Are they though? Um, it's like saying a bat is a bird. Uh, Wilfred. So if any of you have a compound bow that you're just like, yeah, this is sitting around and it works perfect, it's in great conditions, basically it's brand new and it's for hunting, and you're just like, hey, I want to give you a compound bow. Got you. I will happily take it off of your hands. And I feel like I want to get the bow before Justin Trudeau makes bow hunting illegal, basically, because then Canadians will have bows and arrows. It's not like those have ever caused any harm to a society before. All right. It's probably way too much contact cement for what we're doing right here, which means I wasted it, but it's okay. It's almost an empty thing anyway, and I don't want it to like just dry out. Ugh, stop going on everything. Just go where I want you. I'm using a fine tip thing so I can have control. Stop dripping. So when I do the whole la da dee la da da thing, where I got that from is Bugs Bunny in Space Jam. Just so you know. So ever since I saw that movie when I was like, I don't know when it first came out, because I remember when it first came out, and he's doing the whole thing. He's just walking along, and Elmer Fudd shoots him. That's or was it Elmer Fudd, or when he got zapped by the aliens? I think he got zapped by the aliens in that moment. What do we got? We got knife attacks have increased in the UK. Of course they have. Awesome one. They've been going up since all of the South Africans came over during the we'll help refugees without vetting anyone phase. Yeah, that's probably true. But also, when you're only left with one kind of weapon, that's going to be the thing that people use when they're mad. Winchester is very British. It's true. Willibald. I mean, Jacques. It could be Jacques because obviously there's so many things you can do with Jacques for the French name. Check out Lotus Eater's vid on the recent diversity riots. Awesome one. Are you actually British? Or are you guys just talking about British stuff? Okay. It's in there. French Canadian dragon. There are jokes you can make with that. There are a lot of jokes you can make with it. We are almost at the hot gluing phase, just so you know. By the way, you guys need to really like start harassing Punkwaddle about doing. I mean, he's in the middle of a move right now, But you need to start harassing him about doing his parody song where he does waddle a hee, waddle a hoo, waddle a ha, waddle a ha ha. Because I think that'd be great. It doesn't have to be long. It could just be like that, like one line, and it could just be like a YouTube short. But it'd be great. It'd be so great. Dare I say, necessary. I'm British 10 generations removed. Okay. Well, he does make his own videos, Mr. Tickle Trunk. It's just that because we're a team, we upload them to our channel. And so our team is growing. So like the newest officially unofficial official edition is Mrs. Flu, right? So running everything by her and making sure that she makes sure that we don't suck at life, making jokes that are not good or being like hypocrites in the midst of things. And I can break the internet with my lovely singing voice. You're not the worst I've heard, Mrs. Flu. I want to affirm you that. There are some people that cannot sing their way out of a paper bag. You are not one of those people. Okay. Okay, so when that gets pulled tighter, that's how that's gonna look. Kind of reminds you of the Kermit mouth plate, or at least it should, just the way that that's designed. I watched Punk Waddle's Ponderings. That is so sad for your ears. Mrs. Flu is the complete opposite of Mr. Flu. I wouldn't say complete opposite. I mean, he's got a good heart. Sometimes he doesn't express it very well, but they both have good hearts. They're both really quality people. Enjoy their company and their jokes and what they bring to the table. All right, so what we're going to do now is kind of go around starting with the front, and I'm going to start like gluing in. There's a ridge just underneath that I did. So one thing that I learned with Wilton is just using the string to help create a rib. And so that's what I'm going to be doing, is creating that ribbing via that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. All right. How about Uther for the dragon's name? I'm open to it. I really just don't know yet. The dragon, at this point, I don't know if the dragon needs a name. Does he need a name? I mean, I guess if he has like a recurring role or something like that on things, then he needs a name. But at this point, he's just the Halloween costume. So as I play with him on Halloween, that's probably when I'll learn who he is. I'll probably take him onto the school bus, let the little kids meet him, try and scare them. Okay, so now what I do for just to make sure I get that detail in there, just run the back end of the paintbrush. Anti-puff. Culture is his nemesis. Are you saying that Culture is Mr. Toxic's nemesis? You gave him an implant. He's got a lot of implants. Yeah, so anyway, I don't know if you can see that right now. It looks pretty good. Yeah, there you go. You can see it on that angle. So how just the hot glue just gives it that extra bit of ribbing, but also it's just that extra bit of connection. That is great. Well, except for scaring the little children. Well, if it scares them, then they're just weak, right? We want to create a tougher generation. Okay. Actually, last year there was a girl on my bus that I scared a few times, and like she was in kindergarten, I think, Now she's in grade 1, so she's a lot less timid and scared, but she just reminded me of my daughter, so I just messed around and would scare her. I would just like walk up to her and just be like, I'll pretend that her name is, we'll say Janice, and I just walk up and be like, Janice, are you, do you get scared easily? And she was like, no. And I was like, oh, okay. Janice! And I'd scream at her and she would jump. And then she cried. And I was like, so you do get scared easily. But then some of the other teachers, quote unquote, helped her scare me and made her feel better a little bit because she got vengeance. So at least the teachers are teaching this generation that they can get vengeance for things, right? I mean, that's what the society needs. Okay, let's keep going here. And actually, most of the teachers at the school that I drive bus for, they're pretty good. Okay. It's creating a pretty good look there. I'm liking that. That's great. Well, yeah. Scare those kids. They need some more excitement. It's true. Doodle the Dragon. Buttercup. Call him Buttercup. I feel like that's like Mrs. Flu genuinely being like, she's so excited about this idea of Buttercup. What if I call him Dinosaur? Because there's this active and credible understanding that dragons of myth are actually just dinosaurs. So, and it is credible because you look into it and it makes sense. There's a lot more credibility to dinosaurs being around 500 years ago than not. And that's not me trolling. That's for real. All right. Okay. Okay. So, truthfully, so when talking about the building materials here that I'm using, I really like this hot glue gun. What I'm not a fan of is actually the Surebonder hot glue. What I'm actually enjoying or think works better, and it could just be the way that I run, is the dollar store glue, right? So I've been just using this stuff from the dollar store for the hot glue sticks, and it works way better. Hey, Snacks. Dudosaur. Second vote, Buttercup. Buttercut or something else that doesn't fit, like cinnamon or doodle. Well, it's kind of like floral, right? Because floral doesn't fit them. Because I just thought, what should I call them? And that's what came out was floral. All right. So at this point, here we are. So when it comes to I should stick these not just inside random pieces of fabric, because otherwise they're going to fall on the floor and then I'm going to stab my feet and then I'm going to get mad at myself because I was an idiot. All right. Could turn that hot glue gun off for the moment. Super glue, you can go back there. And yes, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 different kinds of glue on this table within arm's reach right now. So that tells you everything you really don't care about. All right. So now we're going to be, so in the same way of what I had to do up here. So you're going to kind of get the small version of it. I collected the fabric up after I attached all this and pushed this in up here. pulled it all up, and then I cut it to where it needed to go. So because I want to create as few cuts as humanly possible. What I don't want is the seam to be right in the middle. I've explained this in other things before. Actually, you know what? I don't care if the seam's in the middle because I'm going to be putting yellow in. So, Gramps, he is more fierce than the name he was given. We're talking about floral there. Fly for a dragon guy. Pretty fly for a dragon guy. But yes, it is a sticky situation. But the thing is, that I just thought about, I'm going to be putting in yellow fabric to start on the jaw there. So I don't mind if there's a seam. So why not? Why not put a seam there, my children? I guess no, it's not gonna work. Not in the cleanest way. Not in the cleanest way possible. I don't think. Because we want, I mean, at the same time, if I just do one seam in the middle there, that's fewer amounts of, you know what? Okay, I'm going to pin this right there, right in the middle. Where's the most amount of fabric? Don't know if you guys can see that. I don't know if you can see this, but this is hot glue, a string of it, and it was just on the corner of my mouth from putting a pin in the side of my mouth to hold. Okay. So I don't care how ugly this looks down here. Okay. All right. This might be working. It's working. It's working. From the best Star Wars prequel. All right. Okay, kids. I'm just going to go for it. Don't eat the glue, but I will sniff it. All right. But that's just because you have to, because I don't like wearing masks. All right. Hopefully I didn't screw this up. Drum roll. Okay. So I'm going to be Henson stitching this down. So in order to Henson stitch, what we must do, and would you look at that, we already have thread conveniently located on the needle that we are going to use because we did it before. But it's all tangled, so I'm just going to clean it up here. I'm going to take a pin and just run it through so I can create all new tangles on this piece of thread. So how do you ladder stitch? Maybe you're wondering. Well, children, I will teach you how to do it. I will show you with a possible piece of paper that is nearby, right here, this piece of paper. So when you're doing a ladder stitch, if you want to hide your seams so that you do not create a grotesque looking puppet, and again, you can actually use this stitch with most fabrics. Even your pillows, you can do it. And in most cases, if you do it properly, it will hide. How's it going, Whitechapel? Kermit the Dragon here. Yes, Godzilla there. So ladder stitch. So It's pretty straightforward. So what you're going to do is, if you have the fabric, okay, so say this is your line, right? This is the line of the fabric. I'll change the colors. That's also red, and that's orange, red, orange. I feel like there's a pattern here. Blue. Okay. So the way to do a ladder stitch is you're going to come through the back of the fabric. Okay, you're not going to go through the front. You're going to come through the back, right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to go straight from the top over to here. And then you're going to go a little bit down, straight along with the cut, come back up through. You're going to go back over, right? You're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to put the needle back through. So when you put the needle through this hole, you're going underneath the fabric, coming up through the hole, going straight back over, and you're keeping a consistent distance the entire time. And then you're coming back up through the hole, going back over. And as you can see, as you're doing it, you're creating a visual ladder. So the thread just keeps going like that. And usually what I'll do is at this point, I will start to pull it a little bit tight because I am very aggressive when I pull. And so when it comes to the fabric or the fabric of the thread I'm using, or the thickness of the thread, I don't know, whatever. I don't know it's technical crap. I'm just working with it. Pull it tight, and then you hide your stitch. So you pull it from here, you hold it kind of down here a little bit, wherever your stitch started, and then start pulling her tight, and you see it happen. So that is what we are doing here. And now, do you necessarily want it to be perfect? Yes. But I've talked about this in previous live streams too, where if you do have perfect, the eye will catch it. So you don't want necessarily to have like a perfect cut, right? You don't necessarily want it to be a perfect line, because our eyes we are drawn to symmetry. We're not drawn to imperfection. So if something looks perfect, you're going to catch it. And that's why, depending on what you're looking at when it comes to puppets, your eyes are going to go to those perfect things. So when a perfect puppet shows up, it's disorienting. Just like with some of those cartoons, 3D animations, those kinds of things, because it's perfectly symmetrical and it throws you off. You can bring comfort to a person by, like, in those 3D moments, by just adding like a mole to one side of the face, and people immediately are just like, oh, okay, or at least in their brains, right? So you can kind of see here the thread, right? I'm going to start pulling on it, and boom, it's gone. Okay. So that's literally all we are doing, is doing that. And this won't take too long because it's just one little stretch here, but now you know what's going to happen. So for those of you guys who do have your own puppets that have like a hole or a pillow that has like a stitch, like, or a hole in a wrong spot, that you're just like, I don't know what to do with this, and I'm not great at sewing, you just take your time and just do a ladder stitch, and you can actually hide your seams. So I do it with my kids' stuffies all the time. I've done it with pillows that we have on our couch upstairs, and I can't even find the seams anymore where I did it. It's been a while, but you can kind of see it right there again. And I'm pulling, and it just, voila. I mean, you can kind of see it on screen, but for the most part, especially in person, that's gone. It's gone. Or tentacle germ spikes. Is that what you're talking about calling the dragon that? Tentacle germ spikes? You're got it. I know what you're talking about now. Creators creating. Are you creating right now, AJ? If you want and you're creating, I'll happily have you come on the stream. Then we can chat and create. because Tiny Metal Trees, he tried coming on the stream one time. We've had Andy Masterson on here. Who else was on here the last time? I can't remember. Oh, we had TJ. He came on, and he was just fixing up puppets that had some wear and tear. So if you want in, and actually, AJ, Punk Waddle was thinking of you the other day for a little project. So, you know what, AJ, I'll just fire the link, and then if you want in, you can just join. I feel like I need to make a puppet. What should I make? What does your heart say, Mrs. Flu? What does your heart say? Search AJ. Click and paste. There we go. All right, so AJ, if you want to jump in, you're more than welcome to. Yeah. Guys, what should Mrs. Flu make? Has to be PG. I just screwed up that stitch. Oh, well, we'll see what happens. It's at the point where it's kind of allowed to be ugly, and I don't have to worry as much because no one's ever going to see this. Well, actually, that's not true. People will see this part still. Good job, Tickle Trunk. Good job. A mouse. I got Nelson the Rat, so if you made a mouse, that could be fun. Are you thinking like a monster puppet? Or are you thinking an animal? Like, what's your gut say? And what kind of fabric are you wanting to use? Like, are you wanting to use faux fur? Because if you use faux fur, then you can use a sewing machine and get away with a lot of things that you normally wouldn't be able to by using this kind. A pill or a syringe? Actually, yeah, you could do a syringe puppet, and if you do like a trigger mechanism, you could make the popper come up and out, and that could be how the syringe talks. And it could just be dispensing medical advice the entire time. Again, there's a lot of jokes you can make with that, but or do you want to leave the medical arena? Mrs. Flu can do the medical. Everyone does need a monster. Monsters are fun. You're at Walmart. Okay. All right. What are you doing at Walmart, AJ? Obviously shopping. And pull tight. So yeah, so this is, you guys saw how obviously it was cut, but now you can't really even on screen see the stitch. Right. So, because what I'm going to do too is I'm going to just kind of go along with the pin. I'm just going to pluck out the fibers. So, make a vaccine. Your own personal nemesis. So I'll probably just be going for another 40 minutes here, folks. Because by that point, it'll be about 11 o'clock, and I'll need to go to bed. Because I had a very full day today. It was my day consisted of waking up, taking care of, obviously, making my breakfast, and then making the kids' breakfasts. Then I went and drove school bus for the elementary school kids. And then I got home and immediately had to play with my son to keep him distracted from my wife, who he just wanted to bug while she did the grocery list. And then we put him down for a nap. So then I had to start vacuuming all of the ductwork to get the dog fur out of it and whatever other toys wound up in it throughout the winter, so that we could turn on the heat again, because last night it got down to 3 Celsius, I think it was. And then I had to do all the air conditioners, get them out of the windows and clean them all up. And then I had to get back on a school bus and not just drive for elementary school kids. On Fridays, I also drive high school kids. So then had to do that. So where are we at? We got a things to put up on walls. Make a vaccine puppet, a bat puppet for Halloween, a vampire. Okay. Today is cold. It was pretty cold today. Is it cold enough for the heat? Yeah, it's cold enough for the heat. It was, well, again, like I said, 3 Celsius last night. So I don't know what that translates into in Fahrenheit, but it was chilly. It was chilly. Tickle drink. I can't remember. Are you in Ontario or in Alberta? I feel like you're in Ontario. We've talked about it before. I know that, and I know you were only 15 minutes away from me a few months back, helping a family member, but can't remember. Toronto. Okay, yeah. That's what I thought. I just don't want to say because I don't know how regarded you are about that. Are you willing to say like actually in Toronto or a Toronto suburb, or however you want to word it, like Mississauga or Brampton or that neck of the woods, or are you on the east side? The next time you're uptown, okay. Next time you're in London, though, Tickle Trunk, seriously, message me, and I'd love to grab a coffee with you, dude. Because even if it's just meeting in the north end of London on Fanshawe area, like Fanshawe Road, I'd love to do that. And that stands for anyone, by the way. Perfect. I love it. I'm assuming actually you're probably coming this way probably for Thanksgiving, eh? There it is, folks. There's the A. Just naturally flowed out of me. A genuine A. So for those of you Americans, you heard it. I do say A. Except I don't spell it EH. I've never done it that way. I've always spelled it apostrophe EY because I'm a rebel. Some of us are just dang sweet. Okay, there we go. See, look how nice that looks. Like, I mean, it's unfortunate I'm going to be covering it all up, but should change your name to Sweaty Pie. Why Sweaty Pie? Not Sweetie Pie? Oh, there you go, Mrs. Flu. You could make a pie puppet. And she could just be the sweetest thing. There's my drink. All right. Let's see how this looks, folks. Let's see how this looks going through the top. I can take that out for now because I don't want to stab myself. Look at that. Huh? Yeah. Get rid of this voluminous junk. So that's the next step, is taking care of some of that stuff. All right, creating those folds, but now the nice thing is the way that I did this puppet is the jaw is connected purely basically through fabric. And so the nice, again, and I did this for Giggity, which is Piper's puppet, or G Giggity. Having it disconnected, you can open up the jaw just straight down, giving you that like angry, just kind of like look. I mean, you can't really see it, I guess, with the ridge of the lips. At least not yet, without tongues and teeth and stuff. But when you're coming at it and it's just straight on, just like it's kind of like the angry growl kind of a thing, or you can just go straight open, right? And that's how that looks. And what's going to happen is part of the reason why I want to add that webbing on the teeth is to kind of control how that mouth is just kind of like flailing open right there. Because once it's actually connected, it's going to force the mouth to kind of stay in the one spot. So that's also some of the logic there. You can't see his eyes very well straight forward. Well, that's why I did the eyes the way I did, which they're just drying right now. So they're actually I guess we just grab one. It doesn't really matter. So you guys can visualize it. I will attach them with pins and hopefully not stab myself. Okay. So these are the small ones because Mrs. Flu said they were more menacing looking. But again, they're going to be, oops, don't want it angled. Come on. Apparently once I do this, like they're going to have to be on. Like on. Okay. And when I actually did the dragon eyes and I found the thing online for them, actually just in that same drawing software I was showing you guys earlier, I angled the eyes in so they could be a little bit more looking straight on, thinking that hopefully that actually makes it look better when it's on screen if it's looking at the camera. Because part of it is like when you think of the T-Rex and the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, when they're looking directly at the camera or at the people, you see both eyes. I wanted to try to create that as well, that kind of look, because I wanted to feel like you're actually being watched, not just Yeah. So it kind of looks snaky, I guess. It'll look better, I think, once you have the ribbing, but the eyes look like that when he's actually looking right at you, but when you're at the side, it's like that. So it looks kind of sad when he's looking straight at you. I'm sad. Need to eat more people, I guess. I don't know why he's going southern. Why am I going southern? Why? Flaming eyes. Kind of. But, I mean, once I add the fabric, they're going to kind of stand up a little bit more, so it'll look a little bit more straight. He doesn't have his eyelids. No, he doesn't. What is the name of the drawing software? It's called Krita. That's what I use. So, yeah, so this is the eye pattern that I actually did, and then literally it's just adding these things over top, and bada bing, bada boom. That's how you do it, kids. That's how you do it. But again, I don't want to screw up those eyes. I want to follow the instructions and let them dry as long as possible, and then go from there. So now we are on the next. So I'm thinking probably the best thing to do would be to do the black velvet part now. Although I guess I have some right here. That was convenient. That took away all of my frustrations about not wanting to do it. Okay. So literally, here's what we're going to do. We're going to maybe green will show up. I doubt it, but maybe it will. It does show up. Nice. Okay. Maybe I should draw it. Because it's me. I should just draw it first. I want to make it yay big. And then we will do this. And we will add a uvula. That's what we will do. We've added a uvula, folks. We're going to see how it looks when I cut it out. So we got our craft scissors, not our fabric scissors here. Okay. Et voila. And would you look at that? It is a circle. Krita. Yeah, Krita. That is how you spell it. And then where'd I put the green marker? So Krita is the software that I did my attempted comic on. I do all my sketches. I actually do even the thumbnails and stuff in Krita. I'm not one of those. It doesn't really show up that great. Maybe because I don't care, because this is the back. Maybe this will show up nicer if it's not too dry. Nope. Does not. This is done. Okay. Just gonna follow the light as best I can. I do want it to look somewhat symmetrical. Apparently I'm folding in the wrong spot though to make it symmetrical. Okay. That should do. And then we're gonna cut a line and just go straight up. There we go. This is going to go on the inside of the mouth. Looks like the rebel symbol, kind of, but it's going in the mouth. So it's going to sit just like that. If I can line it up. So it's going to sit like that. So when he opens his mouth, you got the black gaping throat. Where you will end up dying. Mwah, 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 mwah. And actually what's nice is how I did the ridge lines in the mouth. Kind of works with the uvula shape there. I'm watching a fat man build a tiny house with family. All right. That's fun, I guess. Whatever floats your boat there, son. Okay. So I'm going to contact cement this thing. Yeah. So it's the throat. It's the back. No one's ever going to see this. So what I'm going to do is make a line. Nope. Is this the bad marker? Maybe it's the bad marker. It's coming through okay. Okay, there we go. Okay. Do that. I just want to create some boundaries for myself so I know where I'm gluing on this thing. So I'm not just going to have like a whack of contact cement just sitting there. Okay, so you can kind of see it's kind of faint, but that's ideal. Now, I'm not going to go too crazy. Just trying to get this spread out here. We need to get you monetized to increase your marker fund. Markers are cheap. You can always create reasons with my wife to buy Sharpies because she uses them too with the kids. All right, I'm going to just make sure this doesn't slide. Do that. What I need is a bow fund. That's what I need. Or, well, realistically, if it was up to my wife, it'd be a van fund. And that's part of the reason why I can't just go and drop minimum $400 just for the bow. Never mind arrows. On a bow. Because we need a van. Our van is on its last legs. So markers I can justify. Because she uses them too. But it's the other stuff in life. That's the kicker. However, too, like I want to let people know, like if you're interested in like doing video editing and you want to be a part of what we're doing, I'm open to experimenting and letting people try to do stuff. Because even if it's just like you have like a certain skill set or it's something that you want to start looking into, like editing something like Wilton's life lessons, where it's just simple, you're just putting in a background and you're working with trying to add effects and the music and all that kind of stuff. I mean, most of that stuff I can just hook you up with. Um, but if that's something that is kind of up your alley and you're like, you know what, I want to get in on this and I want to try it and have a computer that can deck it out or work it. Um, Again, like I would just send you all the raw information and then you would compile it, send me the finished results, and then we'd post it. So that's the thing, because I would love for this to become a team thing where it's literally not just me, because the more hands that we have of people doing different things. Dude, 3,000 surprised you didn't get a car. We just spent $3,000 fixing my car. Yeah, that's the thing is right now, Awesome One. I mean, I don't know where you are, but in Canada, specifically Ontario, getting a car for $3,000, you're getting a very big lemon. Used cars have gone up 200% in value. So like right now, if I crashed my van, I paid $6,000 for it 4 or 5 years ago. It is at 285,000 kilometers. I don't know what that translates into in miles, but that's kilometers. And then we would probably get back 10 grand for it if I crashed it today. But that would still not get me a newer vehicle. It would get me a probably the exact same thing from a car lot. Okay, here we go. Moment of truth. Let's throw this in. Stretch that out. And we're off to the races. If I need to super glue a part of it, I'm okay with that. But there we go. And it's about 174,000 miles. There we go. So anyway, so that's the mouth now. Now it actually looks like a bit of a mouth. And when it goes big, you can kind of see the uvula shape there. Just adds that extra dynamic and layer. Roar, 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 roar. Oh, we're watching a cabin build in Canada now. Okay. All right. So there's that. 10:42. What do we got time for, folks? What do we have time for? All right. I don't feel like, not that I don't feel like doing a certain thing. It's what I don't feel like is going to work. So I really like how that looks with that fabric folded. Like I'm really liking that jawline, because what I would like to do almost ideally is that it's in here that would actually start connecting the yellow. So having the yellow kind of do like an arc up and then kind of come and fold in behind. And then that way it layers up behind there like that, because that would look sick. That looks sick. I mean, like awesome. Because yeah, that rounded jaw, it just looks so much cleaner. Just downloaded Krita. All right, there you go, Mrs. Flynn. He put Canadian pennies in the floorboards. Oh, I've seen something like that. But I actually saw someone that made a floor out of pennies. So I'm thinking probably of something different. Okay, so that's that. I feel like the next step would be adding that webbing. But I'm liking how that's starting to look. You're really starting to see the mouth form, how it's going to kind of look. Again, I got to kind of clean up some of these edges here because it's too square. I want it to be a little bit more round. Maybe put a little bit of detailing in here on the sides just to kind of give it that extra look. But yeah, that webbing is really going to kind of stop the mouth from just opening up on its side. All right. Okay. Maybe we'll look at doing the tongue. I'll look at the tongue. All right. So tongue, here's what we're going to do. This is my thinking. This is foam. And I am literally not sure exactly how I want to do it. I do have synthetic dye. Is he gonna get any head fins or horns? I was thinking about that. Tiny trees. I'm not sure though. Honestly, like I feel like that'll be one of those things that I decide a little bit after. Because like one person suggested doing like a horn on the nose. I just feel like that would honestly almost take away from some of the work unless I do like a little tiny horn and I just put it right here. Kind of like almost like one of these teeth. But a little bit bigger. Right, so that would just kind of, the horn would just sit like that. Candy cane horns. By candy cane horns, do you mean like those ones that look like a curled one? Anyway, so the shape of the tongue, we'll just use the same piece of paper that has the other eyes on it. So the way we'll do it is I want it to have that like dragon-y look, if you will, where it's like that, kind of like the T-Rex tongue. So you don't want it to be super pointed, I feel, but at the same time, when you do it, you want the tongue to kind of just grow. Right? I feel like that might be too big, which if it is, then we'll just trim it. But I want to have a little bit of that heart shape at the top. And so let's see how that kind of looks. I'm going to trim from the inside to the outside because I'd rather start it too big and then make it smaller as I go. Okay, let's see. How doth this looketh? And that kind of looks like a dragony tongue. Open her up. As I opened it up, I saw how uneven that looks, but it probably will never be seen by anyone else. So, all right. So, do you guys feel like I feel like that's a good length, eh? Make the tongue just like that. Any opinions? Don't dragons have forked tongues? I think it depends on the dragon you see. Again, if you look at the dragon that I drew, I don't think I did any ones that you would be able to see his tongue. Never mind. I did, though, try drawing like my version of We're Back, A Dinosaur Story. I tried that. I felt pretty happy with how that looked, just thinking of the little dragon guy there. Right, so see how he has his round tongue there. Again, that's kind of what I visualize for like a dragon. is that rounded tongue. So seeing that, kind of how it can like obviously lick, but it's there. Anyway, that's kind of what I visualize. Yeah. So I'm thinking that's the design for the tongue. I really kind of have settled on it, I guess. What do you guys think? Is that gator flying? That's the alien from We're Back. Right? There's like that little alien dude, and then there's the scientist. All right, so here's how I will do the tongue. So the tongue, I want it to be a little bit more pinkish. I don't want it red. And actually, I'm going to work with the curve of the foam. Part of the reason why I want the tongue to be a little bit thicker is for the reason that the teeth, I have the teeth, the teeth are foam themselves, but I don't want the teeth to get squished too much. So I want to have just this thicker tongue in there so that there is that compression factor with both the teeth and the tongue, but they're not going to impede on each other too much. So I'm going to block this out like that. And then I'm going to tidy it up. Put that piece in there. Actually, maybe what I'll do is from the curve there, I'll actually just start cutting on a 45. And then that way it should theoretically save me a little bit. Oh, that looks like crap. Those cuts. Yikes. Gonna have to get rid of those. This is the cool thing too, though, about this whole thing is you guys are coming on this journey with me. It's not just me doing it all. Like, part of it is like it's that adventure, right? It's the being on that journey and figuring it out with people, and this is why, like, if you have ideas and you want to see them come to life, like, just let me know. Like, if it's like a script idea, story idea, right? There's that opportunity to let things kind of fly. All right, so what I want to do is find my little tiny lens, and these are gonna tie up that edge there. So I'm still not the best with these. Like, I will come along with a piece of sandpaper and clean this up, but apparently this won't work. Aaron, I thought that it would work. Now I just feel obligated to cut that off. All right, sandpaper it is, folks. Sandpaper it is. And when you're sanding foam, it's covered in fur. This is why I spent my day cleaning vents, playing with razors. Nice. I may have an idea for a puppet. All right, sounds good. Sounds good. The thing about sanding foam is you want to keep a consistent grain. Otherwise, you'll start wearing it. Like creating like those rough edges and stuff. And I don't want the rough edges. Like I might want to create rough edges later to the side, but just these bits that I just don't want to. Hello, Daniel. There was a warning on this video that I was going to see puppet surgery. All those puppet innards out on display. Thought floral was family friendly. Sorry, man. Well, I guess you could say that puppet surgery is family friendly. It's do they have warnings on like TLC when they do like the liposuction ones? I don't know. All right. All right. I was thinking, like, why is the camera shaking so much? It's on the stand on the concrete, and I'm rubbing as I'm sanding this here. But it's this monitor that's shaking. Now they swear on daytime TV, don't they? Well, probably. I don't watch daytime TV. I wouldn't know, Daniel. Puppet version of a different time. So you can see how those edges are starting to soften and all that kind of stuff. Again, I want to round the bottom of it because that just makes it look a little cleaner. I should be using maybe a little bit higher grade of a sandpaper, which I have up there, but that makes this go by a little bit faster. Oh, but I don't want to go too rough. Let's try this. Yeah, it's going better. Nope, wrong way. How big is the work area? I used to have a nice art corner, but not in my current abode. So technically, my work area is the entire basement, which that's the furnace about 3 feet behind me. And then I got like the whole stairwell. There's a couple coolers right there. and all that. But the actual work area that I'm on, I got the one pad which is 23 by 23. But I typically do my space right here. So yeah, this is really irritating me. But anyway, so typically, honestly, so what I do with most puppet tongues is I'll color the tongue with a Sharpie, and all I'm actually using is just upholstery foam. So when you see the puppet tongues on basically all of the puppets, that's what I'll use. Occasionally, I will use craft foam like Adis, but again, the difference in the thickness is the issue for this build. Because again, I need to make sure that the teeth don't compress too much because I don't want to wreck them. That's rounding out that edge nicely. Just want to get that one real wear that's in there out. Don't know if you guys can see it, but there's this like nasty groove that's in there, and I hate it. Oh, we got punk bottle. I have so many things, and I am a small penguin. So much to move. All right. Is he returning to the North Pole? Awesome. When you know that penguins aren't in the North Pole, right? They're in the South Pole. So, and technically, he's like moving around the block from where he is. Okay, so that tongue is starting to look pretty good. So now what I'm gonna do is, because I want that like a little bit of a groove, I'm going to fold it and then gonna sand it so it kind of gives it that natural tonguey groove. Santa has penguins. Are you sure? Have you met Santa? Because I don't think he does. As a Canadian, it's like I have special access to Santa. And I disagree. Yeah, okay. So now I want to I'm gonna go right on that angle. Let's see what happens. So part of my problem right now is the tongue is kind of getting the curve on only one side. So I'm going to experiment with this. I'm going to do this. Choop. All right, so you can kind of see how we got the curve of the tongue there. It's in there. So I'm going to try and work with that curve that I just built. Clean it up with the sandpaper. Okay. Considering a garage sale. If I had a puppet, I'd get an alligator. Like Marty. Oh. I want to get you this guy going. I want to use him a little bit more for things. My wife found a couple hats of my son's that he can't really wear anymore. But they're a bit big. Although that's kind of funny.
Hi, Marty. How's it going, everybody? What's up?
Anyway. All right. So here's my idea for this tongue. So I'm not going to do it directly on this tongue. I'm going to do it on another piece of foam. I'm going to experiment with it. I'm going to use synthetic dye. Where is it here? So I have Rit Dye-More. It's a synthetic dye. In theory, it will work. So here's my plan. I'm going to cut off this corner of foam. I'm going to grab a cup. And I'm going to run some hot water into this cup with this dye. And then I'm just going to put this piece in and see what happens. So I will be back in 2 seconds. Talk amongst yourselves. So this is so what you got to do when you're dyeing fabric is wet the fabric first, so it soaks that up. I've got some popsicle sticks here that I use for the other projects. Now, like an idiot, I didn't think this through, so I'm gonna move this. Register this. It's probably darker than I want it, but this won't be the final one anyway, because that's okay. So here's what we're going to do. Maybe I will grab another popsicle stick, and that way I can kind of just put it in without touching it. Oh yeah, it's gonna float. I didn't think about that. So this might be a terrible idea. I have no idea if it's gonna work. Don't spill. Well, I am wearing a white shirt, and so I don't think this is gonna work. It's not porous enough. Because that is essentially just like going off. And I don't have rubber gloves to experiment. I guess I could grab a plastic bag, but I don't want to do that. And if I can't do it with this, I'm not going to do it. So I might just have to resort to painting. And if I do that, I think I have enough, or I think I have red. That's not metallic, I think. Excuse me. Oops. Just by husband logic, the white shirt is history. You know what? I thought about that. Chat would understand why, because it's used for history books. I don't understand. We are your people. Right. Well, I'm gonna let that sit for a bit. While we attempt to see what happens there. So again, I might end up having to just. So if I need to, I'm going to just color with pink, and then I'm gonna paint over it with like a darker one, because that way, if it scratches or some of the paint comes off, it'll absorb itself. But what I'll do after I paint it is I will cover it with some Mod Podge, because it will dry clear, and then I'll be able to attach it. But you use the Sharpie because it can add the layers. So when you're doing a puppet tongue, and I'll just cut off another piece of foam for those of you who are interested, because I'll probably just do this when I'm not streaming, because there's already pink on this. So you can see how that pink is there, right? So this is the same pink, I believe. I don't think I used a different one. But yeah, you color the foam, and then what you end up doing is, after it dries, you come along and say, like, this is the tongue that we're working on here, right? You just kind of start coloring in that middle part a little bit extra. And then you do a bit of blending too, right? So you're drawing with the curve, right? You're really going to obviously see the red compared, but this makes it stand out. So you really just kind of force that in there. And then what I do is I hate, and I've always hated getting marker on my hands, but for this stuff, I will just drag it down. And then it just kind of gives it that little bit more of a blended look. Usually I'll do it faster, but you get that blended look. So you kind of see what the tongue would kind of look like. You have a little bit of definition. You have a little bit of whatever color, all that. But doing it with the paint will give it just that much more actual vibrancy, because again, I want that red in there, but I don't want it to be, I want it to be more like this color, but more ready. Does that make sense? Probably doesn't, but we'll see what happens. So anyway, so that's the plan for this here tongue that is covered in fur because of my dog and the stupid piece of sandpaper I had. But anyway, so that tongue is going to go inside the dragon head, which we have right here. I was about to make fun of a grown man making a puppet on a Friday night, and then I realized that I'm a grown man watching someone making a puppet and wishing for a puppet. Only the people in this chat would understand. Okay, I see the whole conversation there. So anyway, so the tongue here is going to sit like so. It's going to go in, and we're going to be having all the little teeth. When they sit, I can get a couple of them out. Would you believe me that I chose this bag because then that way they were stuck in there and I wouldn't have to worry about them falling out. Ah! Think of that. All right. Dislikes with a passion. What? What's going on? People are disliking this? I understand. All right. So the teeth will go in there like so. Not necessarily these orders. But you're getting a visual for what's going to happen. Right. So again, these teeth will sit like so. Right. And so he'll. I wish the tongue will be able to move, but that's not going to happen. Anyway, so you can kind of see where it's going. He's starting to get all of those features going. I'm feeling pretty happy with how it's starting to look. We'll see. We will see. Wait, this is a puppet channel? Would you believe it? Would you believe it? But yeah, no, the reason why I like doing these live streams is, again, like I did say earlier, like part of it is because it gives the watch hours that we're gonna need. But at the same time, the other thing that it does is it gives you guys the opportunity to see how I do it, and if there's a way that I'm doing something that could be done better, you can tell me. But also, if you're not confident, you'll see how much confidence I have with what I'm doing. And it's just like, oh, he's literally just experimenting and seeing how this works. So maybe you'll have some confidence and you'll just be like, let's see what I can do. And here's the thing, like if you make a puppet and you have a character and a camera that's good enough and you are willing to experiment and keep it PG, aim for PG, expect PG-13, then we'll let you come on and have a stab at using your character. So I think this foam will not take this dye at all. Currently, that's my thinking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rinse this off because it's been about 10 minutes or so that it's been sitting in there. That's why I let it sit there, just so I can get a thought. I'm not in a basement, but that's a deep thought. Now that the teeth are in, a horn would just be a distraction. Yeah, exactly, Mr. Tickle Trunk. That's kind of what I was thinking too. All right, I'm going to rinse this off, get some of the water out, and see if it actually did change the color whatsoever. All right. I'm going to go with not really. I mean, it's got a little bit of like a purpley hue compared. But you cannot tell. You just cannot tell. If I did this, my cat would jump up and spill that dye everywhere. My cat's dead, Mrs. Flu. Thanks for reminding me. All right. It's actually true, though. He is actually dead. I had a good cat. He was a great cat. But anyway. So, folks, I think that's where this stream is going to end. I went 20 minutes later than I was thinking I would. The hot glue gun is off. I just need to dump that dye. And this dye is useless for that foam anyway. So we shall not use it for that. And yeah. I think Mr. Tickle Trunk appreciated that I called you out for reminding me of my cat's death. Thanks for showing us your basement of puppets. Well, did you see the puppets? Like they're all just, the guys are just sitting right there. That's where they sit. So Wolinda's just behind Floral on the other side there. Nelson, he's not on his stand for some reason. Probably just from when I was doing the Be Our Guest video. I just threw him in there. But yeah, so this light, it casts upon the screen on that side while I sit here with my arm on my rest like this. Make sure to dump the cup. I will make sure to dump the cup. But yeah, so if you guys have any thoughts, questions, suggestions, I am open to hearing what you got. If you are interested in wanting to try your hand at editing, I am more than happy to send you footage to try and edit. See how it goes. I watched your guest and pondering vid. I am glad to hear that. Yeah, Punkwater, he didn't make a new one just because, again, he's in the midst of moving. And now we're going to figure out what is Mrs. Flu going to start doing. She's not going to be here for she'll be here this upcoming week, but not the week after. So what kind of videos what kind of advice videos or life videos or whatever do you guys think that Mrs. Flu should do? If you were to watch a video with just her for that last 1 minute, what content would you expect from her? So, all right. Because you guys know who she's married to. Hot. The Irons in the Fire. That's right. Yeah, so that was not this Wednesday, but the week before. How to survive living with toxic vids. There could be some content in there. It's not untrue. But I feel like that's just a one-off. How to survive a tox. But anyway, folks, again, meat throwing techniques. Marriage advice. Yeah, I showed Wilton's marriage advice to some people yesterday. I don't know if they liked it. Truthfully, they liked the Be Our Guest thing, but Wilton's marriage advice, who knows? Teach culture how to garden vids. There we go. All right, folks. I want to thank you again so much for joining and watching whatever this would be considered. Yeah, thanks for adding value. You guys are great. I'm going to dump that and go straight to bed. Mwah, mwah. Blowing kisses. Don't let the bed bugs bite. And in the words of my 4-year-old, have a good night. Don't let anybody take you.